Hey
Sounds
everybody, it's
good.
Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger. And for all you crazy nuts out there who know me, have known me for a long time, you know that I am one of those guys that I'm on the front edge of technology, even though I'm older than every single person watching this, including Ariel. Uh, um, I am always way out in front. Many of you got dragged kicking and screaming into the internet, if you remember, and you know who I'm talking to. All right. So, but right now we have another thing going on, and I'll see if Eric. First, let me introduce my guest. I'm so excited to have this guy. I was very shocked when he agreed, which means he clearly did no homework about me. So anyway, uh, this is Ariel and Ariel Levine, and it's pronounced Levine. It is spelled Levin, but Ariel lives in Israel, and we are pronouncing it the way it's supposed to be pronounced. Okay, Ariel Levine. So if you do search for him, and in fact, on LinkedIn, he's just absolutely killing it on LinkedIn. He's got, I don't know, 37,000 followers. I don't know how many connections you have. I'm sure you've maxed that out. And he has been on the leading voice edge of the generative AI that has just absolutely exploded on the world since November 22nd of last year. And I have been following him and tracking him and learning from him as one of the guys that I've been paying a lot of attention to. Ariel, thank you so much for coming. Let me tell them a little bit about you. You are CEO and founder of a company called Soul Marketing. What a great name.
Thank you.
And you got the domain Soul Marketing as well. That, either the internet people were completely stupid and you happened to find that thing was available, or you paid for it. But
Yeah, I paid for it $600.
I said, oh my gosh. Jeez.
But I've got the trifecta. I've got the Israeli one, the .co one, and the .com one. So
Well, there you go. You got the trifecta. You're the winner chicken dinner. That's for sure. When did you start? Well, first of all, Soul Marketing is a business that helps companies to, as he says, capitalize on the amazing lead generation potential of LinkedIn. So you are a LinkedIn expert, specialist, things like that. But what I think, like me, since I'm a marketing and branding guy in the B2B world, but something that's been taking a ton of my time lately now is generative AI and how that's going to impact the world that I work in and the people that I work with and stuff like that. When did you first start Soul Marketing?
so Soul Marketing was started 2019, June 2019. I had a different agency called The Link, which did LinkedIn marketing as well, but we had different views. So we decided to part ways, set up Soul Marketing, and we're actually rebranding. So Soul Marketing is going to be the Israeli arm, and SDR Labs. So SDR, Sales Development Representative Labs, is going to take over the world, at least the English-speaking one.
You heard it first, right here, folks. Okay, they're going to take over. They're going to take over the world. Now, I've got your bio here. You're in Israel now, as I mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're living there now, but you studied at Auckland University of Technology in New Zealand. Did you grow up in Israel, or did you, and
So
then went there?
So grew up in Israel, did some traveling, spent some time in the US, Panama City Beach, Houston, Texas, LA, New York, Queens, New York, various jobs, various things, and ended up in New Zealand at age 26 or so, and did some cycle touring, did some apple picking, did some cow, dairy farming, settled in Auckland, and did various jobs there, and then decided to go to school there, which was an amazing experience. Studied advertising creativity.
Advertising creativity.
Yeah.
Some people would say that that's an oxymoron.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's the days that just the internet started to emerge, and a lot of the stuff that they taught us there was completely not useful. Like I still regret to this day that I didn't study HTML when I had the opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like of course, and here in the United States, yesterday was Super Bowl Sunday, and and the big thing there are the commercials. So when you say advertising creativity, I think that most people watching those commercials yesterday would say there was a huge lack.
Yeah. Oh,
It was so sad. There were a few good ones, few really really good ones, but for the most part, it was just sad. But anyway, but you became while you were there, you became you call yourself an auxiliary LinkedIn specialist. What is it? What is auxiliary? You mean you were just doing? Is it a side gig or something like that?
when I was there,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where you got this quote from.
Oh
So
no, well it's from your website. You say
from our website.
okay, so you focus exclusively on qualifying leads within the platform of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Your original vision was to essentially become an auxiliary LinkedIn specialist for clients across the globe. Maybe I read that wrong. So anyway, not trying to.
So I'm not sure about that, but it's probably my copywriter read it and it slipped me. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you moved to Israel in 2011. Now, so we want to talk mainly about the generative AI, okay, and because you clearly have really gone deep into that. Let's start with this for the people, because I think that I think most of my people, I would say most of them have heard about it. Okay. Not many of them have really dipped their toe into the water yet. So they're still trying to figure this out, because B2B tends to follow behind B2C as far as technology and things like that. Can you describe in simple terms, as we would say to AI, as we would say, talk to me like I'm 5 years old. What is generative AI?
So generative AI. So first of all, AI, artificial intelligence, as artificial intelligence, as it said, which is used for a variety of applications. But generative AI is the name for all the artificial intelligence that actually generates either music, images, videos, and text, but also it can what is starting to emerge is it can even generate drugs, like new drugs, very very soon. So that's very exciting. Yeah.
Now, what do you well, I know that you can do coding.
You can do coding, actually. Yeah, that's definitely you can do coding. You can do there's a very strong product called Copilot that sits in GitHub and can help you write code. It can even help you do various other tasks. For example, it can create an Excel file for your Excel table more so. So it can generate many things. I'm still learning and exploring. Yesterday, I was working on a carousel. So how I get famous is publish carousels on LinkedIn. Yeah, carousels, like essentially glorified PPT presentations that I save as PDF files and publish on LinkedIn. I just published one today.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, prompts, right?
Yeah, it's basically I packed everything that I published so far pretty much into one presentation. So it's old stuff really, but it's new for many people.
Well, okay, yeah. No, go ahead and finish. I don't want to interrupt you.
I know, it's fine. So so I was researching, and you can go so deep into the rabbit hole over there. It's pretty amazing. I was creating a whole B2B scenario of outreach campaigns and how to generate emails using ChatGPT and how to validate them using a code that ChatGPT wrote. So yeah, it's very very strong, and if the more I see people use it from different fields, the more I get excited, because I look at it from my marketing sort of very narrow perspective, I would say, but other people do amazing things with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's that, and that's the thing that I'm really curious about, because I look at it from mainly the text side, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't even attempted the coding HTML side yet, although I certainly will, because I am familiar with HTML, but I'm but in the simplest way, helping my B2B clients who are primarily smaller companies, and a lot of these people, they don't have big marketing departments or anything like that. So when I see something like ChatGPT come along, and now all of its siblings, that are using its API, it's like, okay, hey, this is an opportunity for these people to get way better at marketing to their audiences with less time, spending less time, or actually they're probably not spending any time right now,
Yeah.
very little time. And so now they can spend some time that will be a good use of their time. Now, I mean, I'm fascinated by when you say start doing pharmaceuticals, but I'm going to have to make that a different discussion. So,
Yeah.
so B2B. You just got done saying, and that's really helpful. From a B2B perspective, do you see any what would you see would be the areas of generative AI that you see as really where the advantages are for B2B, or where they should go, what directions they should go?
Okay. So content generation is huge. Anyone can now create as much content as they want, optimized for certain keywords. And if they would do some reading about using ChatGPT for SEO, for example, they'll be able to optimize their articles for that. They'll be able to use tools like DALL-E and Midjourney. Midjourney is both image generation programs to generate images and even product images. So people can create a lot of content right now. They can create, they can from one prompt, they can generate an article, a tweet to promote that article, a LinkedIn post to promote that article, a Facebook post, an image to go with that. So because Google is still very strong, search engine optimization is very, very important. And also, so using ChatGPT to create a big body of content is one big use that I would definitely
So for those of you
advise
that
everybody to use.
don't know, when he and I have both kind of bandied the word ChatGPT around,
Yeah.
ChatGPT is a creation of a company called OpenAI, and see, and this is where my mind just went boom like this, right? Was that ChatGPT was originally introduced to the world on November 22nd, 2022. So it like 80 days ago or 82 days ago or something like that. And today, projections say that it's got over 100 million subscribers. And so if you just do, Google ChatGPT, you can find it very easily. You can sign up for free and play with it for a while. The downside of the free version, because of the sheer size of the number of people trying to use it, it crashes a lot.
Yeah.
And so like even last week, I was doing a demonstration for a group of my clients, and I was also kind of comparing ChatGPT with Jasper, and ChatGPT crashed immediately, right in the beginning of our presentation. And it didn't come back up for a couple hours or something like that.
Wow.
Now they've got the paid version, but okay, you were going to say something.
No, I was just the only thing I can say about that is when I do ChatGPT presentations, I usually pre-prepare my content. So I pre-generate the content so it doesn't crash and I disappoint people. Yeah.
Well,
but
yeah.
with the new paid version, didn't happen yet. So it's pretty robust.
Yeah, no, and like I said to you, I said I just got the paid version this morning, and it finally came, and I got the announcement saying, okay, you can go get it now. And the paid version is $20 a month, which is cheap. is nothing. But okay, so ChatGPT is this tool that you go in. Now you use the magic word prompts, and prompts is the superpower of the person who is accessing this stuff. Tell them what is a prompt, because when you go into ChatGPT, it's basically you're entering, just like you would on Google. Okay, you're gonna on Google you enter search phrase or search words or something like that, but it's different with this. You are entering what is called a prompt. Can you explain to them what a prompt is?
Sure. A prompt is an instruction or a set of instructions that are designed to get ChatGPT to produce the exact result of what we need it to do. So what we do is we ask it to assume a specific personality. So it doesn't have a generic personality. It can have a UI UX personality, or you can say act as an Excel sheet, act as a marketer, act as a B2B marketer, and produce the following results for me. So you, for example, let's take this podcast for an example. As an example, I would say I'm going to be hosted by Steve Miller at his podcast. Can you please create and I can feed it some information about your podcast and about you, and I can say I want an email newsletter for my followers about it. I want a LinkedIn post about it and a Facebook post about it, and it will spit out everything for me, and then I can work with it. If it's, I can say add humor, be more humorous about it, write it in an unconventional way, write it as if Seneca would write it, or some other writer. I can also pre-train it, and I can give it some text by a famous copywriter, and I can say, write it in this sort of style. If it's somebody that is well known, then it is highly likely that he or she have been part of the data set that ChatGPT has been trained on. So I can just say, write it in the style of such and such person, and it will know without me having to train it. And these things happen. I mean, all this content could have been created in the time of my last 10 sentences.
While you were talking, the content has been created in multiple ways. Like last week when I was demonstrating, I was, I first asked it to tell me a bedtime story. And, and then I said, okay, now rewrite the bedtime story as if you were Shakespeare. Okay.
Amazing.
And it did that. And then I said, rewrite it as if it's a book in the Bible. And it did that.
Wow.
And it was a blast to see. And of course, like you say, it's like within 15 seconds, this is done. Right. And and then you can push it farther than that. You can say, like I said, all right, so the character that they came up, that ChatGPT came up with was Teddy for the bedtime story, right? And I said, okay, Teddy wants to take this information that's in the story and he wants to turn it into a book. What would be the chapters of the book? He wrote a book, and then I said, okay, now he wants to be a professional speaker. What would be the title of his speech? So I started to turn it into business, and they could see how quickly things can be used. Like you say, we can use it in LinkedIn, we can use it in Facebook, we can use it in Twitter, blogs, we can write ebooks, we can do all this stuff. Now, when it does this, and you made a very simple state, you said, and then you can do something with that, or so is what you said. When it produces this information, this copy, and then you can do something with that. Well, what's wrong with just using it? What it's spitting out?
First of all, I as a non-native English speaker, I always like to run things via tools like Grammarly, and it's not always the sharpest copy. If there are facts in there, those facts needs to be checked, because it's been trained on certain information. It might have some ingrained biases. So these things need to be tested, and just make sure that it suits my own style and what I what I want to achieve in my own words. And sometimes it can be too salesy, sometimes it can be not funny or too boring. So I mostly like to use it for ideation, and for just to create the structure very quickly. So then I can fill in the blanks, delete this, add that. But it takes me 60 to 70 to 80 even percent closer to my goal with content creation.
Yeah, and that's what I think is really, really important. I've been trying to really stress to my, my BFFs, the importance of not getting lazy. Because companies, I think you'll agree with this. Companies tend to be lazy. Like with marketing, for example, what they'll do is they'll look at what a competitor is doing, and then they kind of copy what the competitor is doing. They just might change the words to have their names and stuff like that. And that's that. There's a strategic orthodoxy that reigns throughout every industry, where everybody looks at the big guys and they kind of copy the big guys. And what I teach people when my thing is, no, you want to be doing the other stuff. You don't want to do what they're doing. You want to do the other stuff. And what I think is going to happen with generative AI is that it's going to make people lazy, especially marketers, because they're going to go ask it to do something, like you say, write a blog post, write a, Facebook, and they're just going to use it. They're just going to use what it spits out. And after a while, again, they're all going to look alike. They're all going to act alike. They're all going to sound alike. They're all going to read alike. So it's really important, don't you think, that this, like you say, this is a starting point that you then take over, and you edit it and massage it so that it sounds like your company, your branding voice. The type of verbiage that you would use, things like that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that, first of all, what you're saying is absolutely right, but this is still V1. I mean, the next versions that we're going to see are going to be, there's going to be content that is going to be personalized to our specific needs on an individual level. So soon enough, information that has been collected about us, or information that we're going to give voluntarily, is going to help marketers. So what we're going to see, and the messages that we're going to see, are going to be 100% personalized to our preference. So that's going to be, I don't know if it's V2 or V10 of this, but it's going to be amazing and very hard to resist as well.
Yeah. Oh,
that's for really, now, don't do it as it is, because it's just not 100%. I mean, the only thing that I could use as is images from Midjourney, and that's all after quite a bit of trial and error as well.
Yeah, that's one thing I have noticed about I haven't used Midjourney yet. I've used Dolly quite a bit, and I find that I really have to go through a lot of iterations before I start to find something that is workable for me. Now you like last week, we postponed our call because you were going to a conference, or
exactly
a conference. Because
two conferences,
you're going out there and you're trying to learn as much as you can about this. Because like I've told people, hey, it's only 80 days old. There are no experts, right? There are people who know more at this point, but how at one point do you finally decide that somebody's an expert? So clearly you are doing everything you can to learn as much as possible about this. What are some of the exciting stuff? What are innovative projects that you've either seen, or you've heard about at the conferences, or you've just kind of seen out on your own? Anything really, really interesting that pops up?
The interesting things are around music, I think, because these are the things that I haven't tried yet. Also, I mean, ChatGPT 3 is very exciting. I mean, that's an exciting thing. It excites.
What is that?
So it's ChatGPT, the thing that we're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Oh, three. Oh, you
So
said three. ChatGPT
yeah,
3. So
yeah,
it's just ChatGPT, for short. Okay, I
exactly.
thought you meant there's a new version out.
No, there's not a new version out, but there's probably going to be one out very, very soon. So um, the older stuff, for example, the I think DeepMind that played chess versus Kasparov
Right.
ended up Kasparov ended up saying that a lot of the stuff that he taught for years, he said, I came to find out that they were absolute crap. So that's what he said about his own stuff after after learning what the AI can do, and that just teaches us uh, how much we don't know. So there's also for DeepMind, there's something called AlphaFold, which is deals with everything like predicting protein structures, which can create breakthroughs in in drug research. And also what I'm most excited about is the applications for climate change. So because
Really, climate change.
yeah, climate change, yeah. Well, it's not so much generative AI, but yeah, climate change is I think this is I um currently we're not doing enough because we're having our minds on. But I guess the most exciting thing for me is I think something that was a quote that somebody in the conference said, that Sam Altman said, and he says in 10 years, for all the problems that we're dealing with as humanity are going to be solved, because when you take all the wisdom out there and you feed it into a machine, and the machine just works on that on a single problem, it can come up with amazing solutions. And we all know there's global warming, there's disease, there's other big issues that we're dealing with. And I'm very optimistic about our chances to solve these, although it can go totally the other way.
Doesn't this sound like a science fiction movie?
Well, I mean, we're living in a science fiction movie. We are living. These are crazy times. Things are changing very rapidly.
Yeah,
And
really.
I mean, there's the opportunity. I mean, the creativity and the speed of things is amazing, and everybody's like, "What's going to happen tomorrow?"
Yeah, I've told everybody, I'm telling everybody, and most people actually they just don't believe me. I say, this is a sea change. This might be bigger than the internet. And, and finally, Bill Gates said that the other day.
Did he say it? Okay.
He said, this is going to be bigger than the internet. He said, this is going to change everything. Now, because what you just said.
It changed. I mean, who would consider, everybody was using Google, and now people are using ChatGPT, and they're using Bing with ChatGPT.
But Bing now is going to be, Bing is is starting to use ChatGPT.
Microsoft is cool again.
Yeah, they're putting all the money
in the conference. Somebody asked them. They said, "How does it feel to be the cool kid on the block
again
after years and years and years?" So it was.
I think it would be very hard for a lot of us to ever think of Microsoft as the cool kid on the block, but who knows? Maybe our kids will. But now you said something. Okay, you said like in 10 years, and you were quoting this person at one of the conferences who said in 10 years they're going to solve all the problems. And it's going to solve all the problems. So,
well, it can solve all the problems, whether it's going to do it or not.
Okay,
I'd like to think so.
Solid point. But you see, that sort of, and this is going to kind of veer off a little bit here, but I think this will be fun. It also sounds like it's going to become sentient, and sooner than later it's going to pass the Turing test. It's very, very closely doing that right now. you know, and so at that point, don't the computers, doesn't the algorithm take over the world?
That's a big fear that many of us have. And there's a book called Humanity 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0. I can't really remember, but it's very good, and it talks about this scenario that that there's machines or some sort of a sentient AI lives with people, next to people. Yeah, so
It sounds like something Isaac Asimov would say.
yeah, but we're living in a period where it's, I mean, there are robots, there are all sorts of I mean, we're there.
And we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting closer to there. But I think it's we really messed things up as humanity, especially with regards to the planet and
yes,
also for society.
100%.
So,
well, we're idiots. We're idiots, and we are so faulty. And if whoever it was, if they didn't give us ego, we wouldn't have half these problems.
Yeah.
So this brings up I think this brings up a good question, though, is how do we handle the ethical considerations of this? I know that a number of my clients said, well, how do you know that? I mean, like, if you do something on ChatGPT, can it be copyrighted? And I didn't know the answer.
Copyrighted? Yeah. I think that's a bit of a moving target, the answer to that. But at the moment, if you created it, so you're asking, I created it and somebody else threw in the same prompt, and then they created a similar content. Is it copyrighted or not? It's a good question, which I, not being a copyright lawyer,
that's going to be a big. I think it's going to be a big question. I mean, I've encouraged my clients to make sure that they are running this. Anytime they do write some copy, to use one of the plagiarism.
Exactly, Copyscape and the likes. Yeah,
and run it through there to make sure. And I said, I said, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a copyright guy. I said, but I am an author. Okay. And I have 8 books, and I've been writing, I've written, probably a few million words in my life. And I think that if I write something based on, what ChatGPT gives me, and then I, check it through a plagiarism AI, and it comes back clean, I can own that copyright. That's kind of how I look at it. Right now, nobody else is gonna. I don't think anybody else can say for sure right now. No, you can't. But we'll see. Of course, it's gonna go. It's gonna, come out. I know I'm sure you've heard, about artists who have been filing lawsuits against people using DALL-E.
Yes, there has been.
So, there's that. Because it's sort of like, okay, where did DALL-E get the images? Got them from the internet. So
yeah.
But if you were a B2B company right now,
yeah,
and you're saying, okay, where do I start?
Where do I start?
Yeah, what would you recommend to these people? Like, if they called you up and they said, hey, soul marketing, where I want you to help us do this, where should we start?
Sure. So let's just assume, for argument's sake, that there's no legal implications and there's no legal issues with that, because that's going to put us into a bigger discussion that we can't get out of.
I am not qualified to have that discussion.
Yeah, that's great. So there's a few things. First of all, in marketing, we discussed everything. So everything from planning, marketing to thinking up various ideas to creating content to empowering everybody in the organization to create content. So imagine if you double or triple the content that people create in your organization and publish and use the power of social media to leverage your brand. That's amazing. Then if you're a B2B company and you have chat support and you want to use OpenAI, ChatGPT to answer some of the queries, then you can connect to the API. You can teach it a few things. You can use that to provide chat customer support, automated chat customer support. That could be another thing. Creating reports, if you are comfortable with feeding sensitive information essentially to it and having it summarize it and create a report for it. That's another use that can save a lot of time. Creating different tools, creating software, creating code, creating Excel sheets, creating Google Sheets and Excel formulas for various applications. So these are the sort of things that I would use. I would invite subject matter experts for each of those things, or also get somebody from within the organization to collect all this information. It's widely available, and use it because it really empowers. For example, it empowers employees to do more quicker. So I ran a webinar for sales development representatives about using ChatGPT, and it's like SDRs are sort of the lowest in the food chain of salespeople, but all of a sudden they have an assistant that creates personalized video scripts for them, personalized emails, personalized LinkedIn messages, resources for them to offer to their prospects. It can write NDAs, it can write pre-proposals, it can take your meeting notes and summarize them into a CRM note or an email. So all of a sudden, somebody who spent 80% of the time on administration and 20% on prospecting can spend equal amount of time on this and on that, and then be a lot more effective. If they reach 5 more people a day, 10 more people a day, then they can do a lot more. And so it's especially now when there's cutoffs and people are getting laid off and you need to do more with less, then all of a sudden you have this $20 a month amazing assistant. I don't think a few hours pass during my working day that I don't use ChatGPT. This morning I had a client come to us for to create a LinkedIn automation sequence. So it was a flooring and tile company in Brooklyn and New York. And we just created their LinkedIn about using ChatGPT, their company about ChatGPT, and 5 or so messages based on some input of text. So something that would have taken me half an hour took me 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes me think of two things. One is, and I want you to help me remember what the second one. First one is had to do with a question somebody asked me in that program I did last week. But the other one, and the second question is going to be about jobs. Okay, so let me ask the first. It's a comment because this was very cool. I have all these B2B people on there. A lot of them are in manufacturing. And I said, do any of you have, I said, tell me the questions that you might ask ChatGPT, right? And once we got it going again, and somebody said, oh, okay, well, what are the most frequently asked questions for people who are using, and it was some kind of heat pump, all right, that they manufacture, right? And so I put the exact question that they asked. That's all I put in.
Yeah.
All right. And the response comes back, and ChatGPT often starts a response by saying, well, I am not qualified to understand, problems or something like that. However, here are 10 areas that people might have a question about.
Yeah.
Right. And it was 10 questions and the answer to the questions for people having that exact product. And it was the perfect FAQ list. I mean, the person who asked the question was floored because all we did was ask the question. All right. We gave it no background. We didn't tell them anything about the product or anything like that. And it was the perfect response.
Amazing.
So that's something, like you say, you could use a chatbot. And instead of the chatbot, I say that, like, today the chatbots are programmed to answer specific questions. Okay. If you ask another question, it can't, something that's outside of its list of questions, it can't answer you. Okay. But with AI, it will be able to go out and get a lot more information like that. Correct?
A lot more. Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So you said, you talk about people at work, and you made a comment like you have somebody who is responsible for handling this stuff in your company. All right. Well, this kind of takes us back to the day of social media coming out. That no company's had anybody specializing in social media, and idiots like you and I who are consulting to these people are saying, you need to hire somebody to do this. And they're going, are you kidding me? Why would I hire somebody to do this? And now a lot of companies have social media specialists. Well, now we're saying, oh, you're going to need to have a generative AI specialist in your company. Now, I'm okay with saying that to people, but then the question is, okay, whose job are they eliminating? Whose jobs are they eliminating?
I don't think anybody's job is being eliminated. Let me tell you that since I started doing this, I hired somebody to, we're running a cohort on Thursday, so shameless plug. We're going to teach people how to use ChatGPT. And
tell me what the link is.
It's a little bit complicated. So if somebody's in, I'll send it to you. You can put it in the notes.
Or can you put it in the chat?
I can put it in the chat. Yeah.
Why don't you put it in the chat right now, and I'll make sure I put it down for you.
So what I was trying to say is that so since I've started using it, this is what happened. I hired a graphic designer, not full time, but they've earned quite a bit by working with me to create my carousels. We have a Slack community as well. It's a free Slack community. So we have a moderator.
I'm on that.
We have a moderator on there who's getting paid as well. No, Ruben is my partner over there, but there's a moderator there.
Yeah, I'm on that Slack.
Called Wasai. So I hired another person to do that. I hired somebody to create the Thinkific course as well. And I also hired a new graphic designer to handle other work for that. So, I mean, for now, it's making jobs. It's not taking.
It's making jobs. Yeah, it's making jobs for you.
Yeah. But for me to be the lead generative AI in my company and still run the business, I need to hire other people, and also I'm hiring a full-time assistant SDR as well. So there's lots to be done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And those are very, very valid points. I can also point out that a number of people that have been in my BFFs are professional copywriters, and at least two of them have lost clients already to ChatGPT.
To ChatGPT. Okay.
Yeah. Because the companies said to them, they said, we can use ChatGPT to do exactly what you're doing for us. And now of course, I had a response that was more like, well, okay, and trying to be as gentle as possible with these people.
Yeah.
Is I was saying, okay, first of all, if your stuff was truly copyable, easy to copy, easy to produce, then you were not doing the job you were supposed to be doing. Okay, because as a copywriter, you are supposed to be the voice of that company. You are walking and talking the brand.
Yeah.
And that should be unique to your job. And ChatGPT should not be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yet. Okay. So, and I think that's what's happened, is that there have been a number of people kind of, and copywriters seem to be the one area that seem to be getting the most heat right now. I'm involved in a big, long discussion with a group of professional professional copywriters on Facebook right now, in a private Facebook group. And, and they're basically saying, oh, no, we're good at this. We will never be replaced.
Yeah.
And I'm going, the last thing you want, and this was a lesson. My father was a co-inventor of the 8-track tape player. And the 8-track tape player got killed by the cassette. All right.
Yeah.
And my dad insisted that they could make a better 8-track and people would stick with that. Right. And the lesson that I learned watching that happen to him was, the last thing you want to be is very, very good at something nobody wants to pay for.
Yeah.
And this right now, to me, is such a sea change, because it is going to just, it's going to take people who are not ready to change, not ready to learn, and it's going to push them aside.
Yeah. Whereby they can, they can master ChatGPT. They can take it with them. They can do other things with them. They can create content in bulk, create cheaper content, quicker content, play with it. You gotta know the enemy. And, to know the enemy, it's going to cost you $20 or $59 if you're using Jasper, and see how you can use it.
That's right.
We were using generative AI last year, using Jasper for content ideation for our clients. So, the moment it became available, we wanted to use it, because it saves us time and it gives us more ideas. And so
okay, you're a busy guy, and I could be pulling stuff out of you for the next couple of hours, but I'm not going to do that because and also it's nighttime for you. What question did I not ask you that you would love to tell these people? Now, I want to make sure that they understand that right now, even though you're changing, right now, you can be accessed through Soul Marketing, SOUL, okay, soulmarketing.com here in the US, .co.
No, just .com is fine. .co I don't think is active.
Okay.
We might have something on it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So .com right now. So if people want to reach you, they can reach you that way. They can follow you on LinkedIn, .com/Ariel Levin, Levin. Okay. Just remember that. Okay. And he puts up these great carousels, and like he said, he has a new one up today that is all about writing prompts. And your superpower is going to be writing prompts. When we talk about the copywriters who are trying to, what they should learn, they should become experts at using ChatGPT for businesses. That's what they should do, because then they say, okay, this is the tool we use. All right, this is a tool I use, but with that tool, I can produce more for you. And it will be, but I will also edit it so that it's in your voice, in your brand, in your branding voice and stuff like that. And that's what they should be doing. So what did I not ask?
Let's produce a daily post. So let's take this.
Okay, so are you gonna go on? You're gonna go online then?
How do you mean?
Are you gonna right now?
I
Uh,
can.
yeah, well, it's up to you if you want, or you could just go ahead and just keep talking.
Oh, okay. No, happy to keep talking. I mean, unless there's a specific example that you want me to show.
No, but you started to say something. You started to say, well, let's produce. You said, well, let's
No, no,
produce.
I said, if I was a copywriter right now, I would say to my clients, I would say, okay, I mean, I ChatGPT is out there. We used to produce one article a week for you. Now we're going to produce 5 articles a week for you. And with each article, you're going to get a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, a tweet. Okay, so you're going to get a whole package, and you're going to pay me the same. How's that?
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to produce images to go with those, and they're going to be royalty free. You don't have to pay for them to get images or anything like that. So, and and the crazy thing is in many cases, um, the the copywriter doesn't have to work a lot harder to do that. Maybe they just need to do some editing and things like that, so they can have, yeah. So that's what I would do. I would say let's create more
That's
content
great.
quicker.
No, that's
Yeah.
great advice. That is great advice. So what question did I not ask you that you think these people would need to hear?
So just you know,
Or what comment would you make to them?
proceed with caution. I mean, there's still some there's still information that we put on the internet. It's still information that we put on the internet. There's still some unanswered questions around data privacy and attribution and bias and discrimination, and people can misuse it and can use what we call deep fakes. So fake images, fake videos, um, uh, produce misinformation, disinformation. So just beware of that. You don't need to fear that, but just have a inquisitive and eye about everything that you see online right now, because the anybody with a bit of imagination can create um, some pretty believable identities and other things as well today. So that's what I would say. I would say just know that there are some risks out there. Go out and if you haven't used ChatGPT, if you haven't played with it, you can go from zero to hero quite quickly. You can join our cohort. There's lots of videos out there. I would say spend at least 20 minutes a day on playing with one of the tools and getting really good at it, because it can help you. I mean, the 20 minutes that you spend can save you an hour, 2 hours, a week, a day, and soon enough you're going to be using it, and it's going to be like AI is going to be your personal assistant, attuned to everything that you need. So whether you like it or not, I would become an early adopter, because it's an exciting time to live in.
Mr. Ariel Levin in Israel. Thank you so much. CEO, founder of Soul Marketing and SDR Labs. Right. I know that you're busy because you're getting ready for a board meeting. You're in your boardroom right now, waiting for the people to come in.
Yeah.
And I love that. I really appreciate talking with you today, and look forward to staying connected and following you more on LinkedIn. I notice you don't do as much on Twitter, but because a lot of the guys seem to be doing both. And but I like the idea of picking one. And
Yeah.
so appreciate you very, very much. And I will definitely get this out. I know you said your cohort is coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, coming out on Thursday.
Okay, so I will definitely get this out to my BFFs with a link to that cohort. So if they want to learn how to do this, they can jump on board. Okay. thank you again. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you. So
Absolutely.
see ya.
See ya. Cheers. Bye-bye.